Hi, Nick Duffy from MMG Golf and Nick Duffy Golf, here to talk a little bit about hand path in the golf swing and why it's important to get a very, let's say, neutral or at least consistent hand path through the golf swing. There's a lot of guys on tour with very different hand paths. I know there's some guys you'll see, for example, like the Ray Floyds of the world or the Matt Wolfs of the world, who have very different varying ways they like to bring the sweet spot of the club in and the hand path. With those, intricate patterns that they have, they have to do some things a little differently than most players. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences in what you could do with your hand path. Most golfers, instead of thinking about what the actual hands are doing in the golf swing, are thinking about the club head. So, I would say I very rarely have ever given a lesson to somebody where we're working on getting the hand path to get a little bit better, and they interpret it as getting the sweet spot in a different place. So for example, if we're talking a little bit about getting the sweet spot of the club to not trail in so much, I always say make sure we have the hands still having a little bit of depth, or if you're going with like your right toe. Invariably, everyone seems to always want to just do this. Hands kind of travel with the sweet spot of the club to get that club traveling a bit more up. Once we do that, we kind of negate a lot of the good stuff we were doing originally, kind of cut out our turn, and then our hand path actually kind of destroys the progress we were trying to make. So, with that being said, we got to always kind of pay attention to what our hands are doing and what effect it has on the club, because really what's going on is this is affecting this. So, if we can get the hands of the club to stay pretty steady without the sweet spot getting in too wacky of a place by our forearms over rotating or under rotating, you could generally have a pretty planed up golf swing. I hate to even use that term, but at least a swing that looks like it's more on plane or a little bit more neutral, efficient swing without having to do too many crazy things to compensate. So one of the examples I like to use also, besides the Matt Wolf and Ray Floyd example, you also have the, at impact, vertical swing plane. So if you were thinking of what vertical swing plane would look like, if you get someone like a Sergio Garcia, really low hands, probably one of the lowest ones on tour, right? And then you get the Brysons of the world, higher hands, a little different way to deliver the club, especially with his one length club set and also kind of how he delivers it. A little less wrist set, less loading of the club. Very different. Both very good drivers of the ball. I mean, Bryson's the longest one out there right now and also one of the straightest. Sergio's probably been one of the best drivers of the golf ball in the last 20 years. So right there, two very different ways to do it, but two very effective ball strikers. So what you need to find out as a player is how I'm delivering the club is matching my intention or the strike on the face. Because that is where I'm seeing some of my players who come in with some swing issues or strike location issues. The biggest place I'm seeing is right around the ball, right around the vertical swing plane. So you'll see some people who do not deliver the club with too much power, sometimes have more of this look and kind of short little pivots. They're just basically using just the hip turn and rotation to try hitting the ball. They're actually not using the verticals enough to really help them get that extra level of power, so the handle stays very low through impact. And then vice versa, you get the guys who tend to deliver the club a little too high with the hands. I'm exaggerating this one a bit. You don't see it this bad too often, but if you do, then you'll see massive toe strikes. Players who are swinging the club, if you were just tracking the path through TrackMan or FlightScope, is looking like it's a great delivery. Problem is, once you look at the vertical swing plane, you'll start noticing this is what's throwing off the strike on the face and why that player still is not delivering the club efficiently into the ball and why the face angles may be bad, the strike location not being anywhere near the sweet spot. That also being said here too, if we get the one that's too low, you need to be delivering more heel into the ball. So between those two, it's very important to know which one you do, and if you can do it consistently, then you get your clubs to match, and as long as you get enough power, that's what you need. And we start seeing massive strike location issues and we can't match the fit up, that's when you need to make the change. But between the two players I mentioned, Bryson and Sergio, you get a very, very big gap there of what you could actually do with the delivery of the club through impact. Two of the best drivers of the ball in the last 10 years, and two of the players I love to watch the most. So overall, I hope this helps you out and help you for your future golfing endeavors. And once again, if you liked the video you just watched, please hit subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, let me know how we did. If there's any subjects you'd like for another video, please let me know in the comments. That way I can try my best to get those loaded up for you. Hopefully this helps you out and we can make you a better golfer. Thanks.